Guys, welcome in. So I'm going to go through for you basically a breakdown of what to look at, like a checklist of the squat. So now it's quite important that you get these right, and it's important that you look into all these different areas just simply because it's going to help you develop that little bit more. There's a lot of people that you may have, for example, your heels come up slightly, or your hands are in the wrong position, your legs aren't quite in the best position for you. You know, people have got different length legs, so you want to be thinking about how you're standing and exactly what you're doing. So first of all then, on the squat, you might think that the hands don't really play much of a part, but honestly they do, because of the simple fact that if your hands are too tight or too close, your shoulders will roll forward. If they're too wide, you'll just be too baggy and too relaxed and your core won't be braced. So with this, I've been through all these different phases, if I'm honest. I've gone wide, I've gone close, I've gone different points. Now my best position personally is around sort of like this position here. And then making sure that as you go into the position and hold the bar, that you're then pulling your elbows down. So you want to imagine it's like a lat pull down and you're squeezing your elbows into that position. So by squeezing your elbows into that position there, like I say, imagine you're doing a pull up or a pull down, squeezing your elbows into that position there, the torso is solid and there's going to be no flexion, no movement in the body. You can then just go straight into the squat and do what you've got to do. So think about where your hands are. If they're too wide, like I say, if they're too wide, they're going to be too relaxed and there's a lot of movement that can happen. So you want them to be nice and tight, locked in and pulled into position. Now obviously, one of the options that you have is a low or high bar, depending on sort of like the length of your body, if you like. If you've got a very long torso, I'd probably recommend trying a low bar position, because it basically puts the weight further back onto your heels, so you're able to then keep the bar under control. A low bar, you probably have to take your hands a little bit wider out, but a low bar for myself would be sort of like this position. And if you notice, the bar is further back onto your heels, so that when you go into the squat, the bar stays at the back. Okay, so that's the hands. Next, like sort of like moving down, is looking at like bracing your core. So breathing is going to be the key factor to this. So for example, you're going to load into position, wherever you're at, and then as you're about to take the first movement down, breathe in, bring your chest up so that your ribs are nice and high and everything's tense and your torso is solid. In that position, hold your breath, keep it in, go for the rep, come back out, and then that's when you then can breathe again. Do not let the breath out at the bottom. Keep it in for that whole range of movement until you get to the top. Now, yes, if you're doing 10 reps, it's going to be harder, but you've got to get used to it to sort of appreciate it, if you like. Again, I see a lot of the time, at the bottom, people will breathe out and then they'll be in this position coming back up out of the squat. Obviously, it's the worst thing you can do if you've got a lot of weight on the back. Okay? The next thing I'll go for then is, final thing really, and it's where you stand. Now, typically, you want to be in the best jump position. So if you were to jump and land, typically somewhere around there is where your best squat should be, because it's the most powerful position. However, depending on sort of like the lever length, if you like, so the length of your legs depends on if you should be turning out a little bit more or bringing your feet closer in. So to sort of like understand this, the best thing you can do really, the best advice I can say is set up a camera, put it at like a 45-degree angle and just take videos of yourself until you get into the best possible position. But the things we want to be looking for, so for example, I know this is my best squat position. Things we want to be looking for is toes slightly turned out. Don't have your feet fully turned forward. The pressure goes into the knee and then you're not going to get that flexion as much as you want. So turn your toes out first of all. You're then going to also at that point, as you go into position, you want to be in the best position that you can that keeps your torso upright. Now if you find that you're coming forward a lot, then maybe you want to bring your heels out, your feet out a little bit, because that will then enable you to keep your chest up that little bit more. Okay, so with the feet, just play around with it until you feel you're in a good position so that you can stay upright and drive through and feel like you've got full control. Your heels don't want to be coming up, and your chest doesn't want to be falling forward as you do your reps. So they're the main things really, guys. Like, have a look at them, play around with them until you sort of get the best position for you. And like always, any questions or any other support you need, just give me a shout.